Welcome back to Dearly Deported, the podcast where we talk about the human cost of immigration policies. Not the headlines. Not the talking points. The people. Today's story, honestly, it's heavy. It's about faith, bureaucracy, exhaustion, and a man who's reached the point where going home feels easier than fighting for justice. For nearly 2 months, Rev James Eliud Ngahu Mwangi has been held in an immigration detention center in Conroe, Texas. 2 months of waiting. 2 months of uncertainty. 2 months of asking the same question most detainees ask eventually, how long? And here's what makes this case especially troubling. Reverend Mwangi wasn't undocumented. According to the Episcopal Diocese of Texas, he was legally employed by the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. He had a valid work permit. He was serving, literally, ministering within the prison system. ICE, on the other hand, says his visa had expired and that his asylum case is still pending. So now you have two narratives running side by side. One says he followed the rules. The other says the paperwork says otherwise. But beyond the legal arguments, there's a human being sitting in a detention cell. By all accounts, Reverend Mwangi is tired, anxious, emotionally worn down. Detention does that. Even when you haven't committed a crime. Even when you believe justice will come. And eventually, hope starts to feel like a luxury. That's when Reverend Mwangi made a decision that breaks my heart. He requested voluntary deportation. Let that sink in. Not because he lost his case. Not because a judge ruled against him. But because staying in detention began to feel less like due process and more like punishment. When people hear deportation, they imagine closure. A return home. But this isn't a homecoming. No celebration. No victory. He's leaving behind a ministry. A congregation. A community he served. A life he was actively building. As a pastor myself, I can't imagine shepherding people, only to be removed from them without warning. This isn't just about immigration. It's about displacement of purpose. The Episcopal Diocese of Texas says they are supporting Reverend Mwangi and his family, and they've called on authorities to uphold transparency and due process. And that's the key word here, process. Because when process drags on long enough, it stops feeling neutral. It starts breaking people. This case raises uncomfortable questions. How long is too long to detain someone who hasn't been convicted of anything? At what point does waiting become coercion? And how many people quietly choose deportation, not because they want to leave, but because they can't survive the waiting? Reverend James Mwangi's story isn't unique. But it is clear. Behind every file number is a face. Behind every policy is a pulse. And sometimes, the most heartbreaking decision isn't being deported. It's choosing to walk away from a life you were still building. This has been Dearly Deported. If this story moved you, share it. Talk about it. Because silence is the easiest deportation of all.